They say a house is just bricks and wood, but some houses hold something else. Something you can feel the moment you step inside. The air is thick, the silence feels wrong, and when night falls, the walls begin to whisper. Tonight we step inside the most haunted houses in America. And I warn you, some of these stories, they don't end well. Still here, good, but don't say I didn't warn you. You've heard of the Conjuring movies. You've seen the paranormal investigators, the demonic possessions, the chilling hauntings. But what if I told you it's all real? This is the real-life Conjuring house, a place so terrifying that even seasoned ghost hunters refuse to stay overnight. And when you hear what happened to the Perron family, you'll understand why. In 1971, the Perron family, Roger, Carolyn, and their 5 daughters, moved into this farmhouse in Rhode Island, hoping for a peaceful life. But from the very first night, something felt wrong. At first, it was small things, doors opening on their own, objects vanishing, only to reappear somewhere else, the sound of faint whispers in the dead of night. The family tried to ignore it, but soon, the spirits made themselves known. The daughters spoke of a woman in a dark dress, standing in the shadows of their room. She never moved. She never spoke. She just watched. The parents later discovered that their house had a dark past. One of the previous owners, Bathsheba Sherman, was rumored to be a witch. Local legends say Bathsheba practiced dark rituals, even sacrificing her own infant to the devil. In her final moments, she cursed the land, vowing that no one would ever live in peace. Soon after her death, every family that lived in the house suffered tragedy. Mysterious deaths, suicides, people vanishing without a trace. And for the Perrons, their nightmare had just begun. Carolyn Perron, the mother, became the main target. She would wake up with bruises covering her body. She heard whispers in her ear at night, telling her she would die. And the worst part, she believed it. One night, Carolyn woke up, and Bathsheba was there. Her face was shriveled, rotting, her eyes pure black. And before Carolyn could scream, her body was lifted into the air. She was thrown across the room with inhuman strength. Her husband found her unconscious. Deep scratch marks burned into her back. But the most terrifying part of the house? The basement. The Perrons refused to go down there, but they had no choice when their furnace broke. As soon as Roger Perron stepped inside, he felt it. The air was thick, suffocating. Then, a whisper. Then something grabbed his shoulder. He spun around, but there was no one there. That was the last time the Perrons ever entered the basement, but no matter how hard they tried, they couldn't escape what lurked beneath their home. Terrified and desperate, the Perrons called Ed and Lorraine Warren, the same investigators from the Conjuring movies. And the moment Lorraine stepped inside, she felt it. A demonic force. She told the family, "There is something evil here, and it wants your mother." That night, the Warrens attempted a seance to expel the spirit, but instead of driving it out, they unleashed its full power. Carolyn's body levitated into the air. Her eyes rolled back. She spoke in a voice that wasn't hers. The Warrens tried to hold her down, but then she was thrown across the room with inhuman force. Her husband begged the Warrens to stop. The family feared the ritual would only make things worse, and after that night, they knew they had to leave. The Perrons escaped. The Conjuring house in 1980. But did the spirits follow them, or are they still waiting? Visitors today report hearing knocks in threes, a mockery of the Holy Trinity. Others feel hands grabbing their necks, and some wake up with deep scratches on their back. Would you dare spend a night here? If you think this is the most haunted house, then you should definitely see the next one. A staircase that leads to nowhere, doors that open to solid walls, a house so large and confusing that even spirits get lost inside. This is the Winchester Mystery House, one of the most haunted mansions in America. Sarah Winchester, the widow of a gun magnate, believed she was cursed. Haunted by the spirits of those killed by her husband's rifles, she spent 38 years building this house, adding rooms, hallways, and secret passages. Why? To confuse the ghosts that followed her. But did it work? Paranormal investigators claim the spirits never left. Visitors report cold hands grabbing them when no one is there, doors slamming shut. And at night, they say you can still hear the whispers of the lost souls wandering endlessly. But if you think this is terrifying, wait until you hear about a house so haunted that even the devil himself was said to appear. New Orleans is known for its ghosts, but none are more infamous than the horrors of the LaLaurie Mansion. In the 1830s, Madame Delphine LaLaurie was a wealthy socialite, but behind closed doors she was a monster. She tortured and experimented on her servants in ways so horrific, I can't even describe them here. One night a fire broke out, revealing her secret torture chamber. The townspeople stormed the mansion, but she vanished. Some say she fled to France. Others believe she never left. Because those who enter the mansion today hear screams from the empty rooms. And sometimes a woman in a black dress appears in the mirror. But when you turn around, there's no one there. But there's one house even more terrifying. One where visitors don't just see ghosts, they bring them home. A peaceful family home until one night in 1912, 8 people, including 6 children, were butchered in their sleep. The murderer never caught, and the spirits still waiting for justice. Visitors say the energy inside is suffocating. You walk in and immediately feel watched. The doors creak on their own. Shadows move in the corners. And at night you can hear the sound of children crying. But the most terrifying part? The attic. Investigators believe the killer hid up here, watching the family, waiting for them to sleep. People who stay overnight never make it until morning. Doors slam shut, objects move by themselves, and some wake up with scratch marks on their skin. But what if I told you there's a house even worse than this? A place where visitors don't just hear ghosts, they bring them home. Her name was Chloe. She was a slave on the Myrtles plantation, and according to legend, she still roams the halls. Chloe was caught eavesdropping and had her ear cut off. As revenge, she poisoned a cake meant for the family. But the plan backfired and 2 children died. As punishment, Chloe was hanged from a tree. Today, guests claim to see a woman with a green turban in the mirrors. She appears, then vanishes. But the scariest part? People who visit often report seeing her in their dreams. And sometimes, they wake up with a handprint on their arm. From unsolved murders to restless spirits, These haunted houses remind us that some doors should never be open. But tell me, would you dare spend a night in any of these homes? If you love terrifying true stories, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because we have even darker secrets to uncover. Until next time, sleep tight if you can. And not all hauntings come from houses. Some come from objects. If you think a haunted house is terrifying, wait until you hear about the most cursed items in history. Click on the next video if you dare.